Just gonna add some dusting of snow on this character, Snake Eyes, and so we'll just get to it. Got some Vallejo air paint, bright white. I got firm bristle brush that I trimmed down. As you can see, it's kind of splayed out, frayed out, so it's an old one. And you're just going to take your finger and you'll slide it across. So when it's executed, you're getting that spackling effect. And just do it as much as you want. If you want more, we can also take our silly putty and we can tape off certain parts. If there's certain parts that we don't want our paint on, I'll show you that now. This is my favorite way to mask off anything. Silly putty. Get the big putty. I've had this one for about 8 years now. And you just take a chunk of putty. Let's see. We'll say we don't want. We'll just mask off like these shin guards. No, because snow would get up there. So let's just mask off like this waist, because we don't want any snow getting up there, no spackles getting up there. So we're gonna take our putty and we can move the figure around and kind of slide it into these sections. It's great because you can just push it with your thumb and it goes right in. If you need to be more precise with your masking off, you can use any kind of sculpting tool. The easiest one for me is a popsicle stick. Take a popsicle stick, run it through your sander, belt sander, until you get an angle that you can work with. And then we just come in here and you can just move that putty around however you want. And it's great, it stays. You can use the flat side. You can just kind of press it in like that. And then you see we got this tear. No big deal. We got a whole bin of silly putty. So grab it, stick it on there. We got some parts that didn't get covered. No big deal. Just press it in there when you like it. When you like how it's masked off, and then just go ahead and start throwing your paint down. But I'm going to go ahead and finish masking off this torso, and then I'll get back to you. Alright, so here we have this. We got it pretty much masked off the way I want it. I left this shoulder open because I've made a poncho for him, a ghillie poncho, and so in my imagination, I think that there's a moment where he kind of like throws it back over, or the wind maybe picks it up and throws it over his shoulder, and then he gets blasted with some snow. But we want to cover up this little tight spot, this corner right here, this little tight corner right here. And this is just to show like a couple things. One, the silly putty really likes to stick to itself. So if you're having trouble getting it to stick to itself, getting it to stick to your model, you can put some down somewhere else and use that as kind of an anchor point to get your silly putty to stick where you want it. And then the other thing is that it's super versatile. So you can mess with this until you're happy. Like, if it's not going exactly perfectly the way you want it, just slow down and finesse it a little bit. And you can just push it with your thumbs. A technique I like to do is to push it in real tight, and then come back and go another direction. And then you can kind of go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, until you like how the putty is seated into the sculpture, well, in this case it's a action figure, into the action figure. But yeah, like, no one says that you have to do this within 5 minutes, especially if you're just taking your time and customizing for yourself. Like, you got no deadlines, just go until you're happy with it. And once you're happy with the placement, now we're going to go ahead and start putting our splatter effect in. So we'll grab some paint. And we'll start flicking some paint on. Another pro tip is so you can just start putting your paint down however you want. But another pro tip is if you put a clear coat in between your weathering and your custom paint job. So we did our patterning here, our camo pattern. So we laid down our camo pattern. Then you do a clear coat before you start doing all your weathering. You can go back, and if you go a little too heavy on your weathering, or if you just don't like it, you can take another pass at it without having to do the whole paint job over again if you just put a layer of matte clear down on top. Gives you a little buffer for forgiveness. And then something that I learned a while back is that you don't want to you want to pick like positions. Some people call them focal points. I would say, yeah, they're focal points, but you want to apply your weathering, your splattering, your whatever. You don't want to cover the entire figure. So you kind of focus on a couple areas. So you have like an area where the splattering is kind of heavy, but you're not covering the entire figure in splatters. And, maybe, again, if you just kind of think through your head. I was in the Marine Corps. There's certain spots, like when you're cleaning your equipment, there's certain spots that like collect what was called moon dust. Out in Iraq, we had moon dust. And so there's like certain spots like up here on the helmet where things would collect, because that's not something that you see all the time, so you're not constantly like cleaning it out or whatnot. And there's places on your equipment that collect different things, whether that's grease and oil or moon dust or some snow or whatever the character, the environment that the character is in, and you're trying to imagine or draw from life like what that looks like, what those effects are. And we're running low on some paint, so I'm gonna grab some more paint and then we'll keep going. So now, also if you kind of come at it from one direction, if you imagine that the snow is going across this way heavy on the upper body, but he's walking in it too, so the legs, the limbs, the lower limbs will have more snow than the upper body. They'll have, especially, I don't know if you've ever played in the snow or watched your kids play in the snow. When they run, like, it kind of throws the motion of kicking your heel up, kind of picks up snow and kicks it up higher on your body. So we can kind of capture that idea just by putting certain amounts of snow up on the back more. And then we go, all right, Snake Eyes, he was also kind of in a snowstorm as he was infiltrating Cobra's Arctic base. And so, he's taken some snow blasts to the side of the body. And when you imagine shielding yourself in a windstorm, you kind of pick your forearm up. You could even pose him as if he's doing that. So he's here shielding himself from the snow as he's trying to kind of track down Storm Shadow. So just try it, just play with it. I mean, man, have fun. Like this, let's be real. We're playing with toys. It's okay. It's okay to have fun playing with your toys. Like, I think you should. I used to have one of my professors in art school. He used to talk to all of his characters that he would draw, and they would, he would make up voices for him and such. But, you should have fun. Just have fun with it. But yeah, so now we'll go ahead and we'll take off this silly putty mask and see what we got. See how it came out. And we can also kind of decide if we want to change it up a little bit, if we want to add some more snow splatter somewhere else, or if we like it. If we like it, hey, that's cool. If we don't, if we want to change it a little bit, if we don't like it at all, if it's like, oh man, that looks terrible, then, luckily we put on that clear coat and let it sit for a day, so we can go and wash it off. But I think for the most part, I might want to put a little more up on his face, because I think right now it's just it just looks like splatter, and I'm not a huge fan of that. So I think what I'm going to do is just go ahead and I'm going to do a technique that I used to love doing, where you just flick it. It could be, that might be a bad idea. Let's see. Yep, that was way too much paint. Good thing I didn't throw that on the figure. That would have been bad. Okay, so we got some kind of flicked out a little bit, and we'll bring it a little closer. There we go. So now our Snake Eyes is pretty well covered. As far as snow goes, I think that's pretty cool. I think it's pretty cool. I think he might be ready for his poncho. I might actually, I'm gonna clean some of the snow off, because instinctually, if you're walking and you get snow on your goggles, let's say you're walking and you get snow on like your head equipment, and you tend to like wipe it off. You reach up and wipe it off. So I think we can do that here. And the other thing is that it's a white camo, but I want the snow to be brighter than the camo. So that's why we did this wash. Because, I mean, used, when it's brand new, you can tell the new guy, his equipment's all brand new and it's never been used. However, Snake Eyes is like one of the OGs. So he's been around. He's been fighting polar bears a while. He's been doing a lot of covert ops for quite a while. So all of his equipment will be well worn, well used. Also, if you're like me, you can't stop tinkering. If you have a problem with knowing when to end, then you're going to have to mess it up a couple times and then say, all right, dial it back. You got to go, you got to mess up. I got to get it to where I don't like it, and then I have to go backwards. So what I have here is just some distilled water and Q-tips. 90% of any craft is being able to fix your mistakes. That goes for woodworking, that goes for painting, that goes for sculpting. That's why, pushing yourself is good. Trying stuff out is good. Just keep testing. Keep throwing stuff out. Try stuff. Don't be afraid of trying stuff, because the more mistakes you make, the better you'll be at correcting those mistakes. So, like I say, 90% of any craft is just being able to fix your mistakes, so that you have the confidence to just go for stuff. And if it messes up, hey, no big deal, because you know how to fix it. So just fix it and move on. I like that better. I like the idea that he kind of wiped his face as he's walking. He kind of did one of these, wiped some snow off, got bundled up there, and he just kind of silently wiped it off so he could see exactly where the enemy patrols are moving in and out. But yeah, that's the weathering. That's the weathering for Arctic snake eyes. And if you guys like it, that's cool. I like it. If you don't like it, that's cool too. Do you, and I'll do me, because I make a terrible you and you make a terrible me. So that's it. So now we have his poncho on. And there's Arctic snake eyes with his poncho. So with his ghillie poncho. I don't know if you guys have ever walked in heavy snow in Michigan or anything, but it pretty much goes up to your knees. So the idea is, if he's hunched over kind of here, walking through the snow, all that really shows up is that part of him. Cobra would look out and be like, "What's that fluffy rock doing?" Something like that. Funny. And then, he's got his sword in. So now we can weather it all together. So we'll put some splatter on there. And again, just keep an eye, we don't want to make you don't want your weathering to be completely even, because then you're not really given areas of interest to look at. You're just covering the whole figure in the same thing, and then it'll wash out all your details. You won't have any more details. So There's the sword. We got our snake eyes. He's looking up. That's a good opportunity to throw some more snow on his face. There we go. Yeah, like I say, have fun with it, man. And ladies, I don't know if there's lady customizers out there, have fun with it and just enjoy it. But yeah, we can, have move our poncho around a bit. I made this. This is just a bunch of different fabrics that I cut up, and then sewed them. I layered it just like a ghillie suit. So you got, a whole bunch of different types of fabric, some string and some other stuff. And yeah, you just change it up and then layer it on so that each layer kind of folds over itself like roof shingles. And yep, that's about that. And now we've got our Arctic snake eyes. Now I just got to do all of his belts and straps and all that cool stuff. So, all right.